What's up guys, Saivo here, and today we're gonna talk about the second boss in Makarna. Makarna is basically the hardest endgame content PV there is in Aion, so I thought I would explain you how we do things. We are right before the first boss, so right here, me as a Templar, I'm just gonna rush ahead, aggro those mobs, and then just go down to where Oris is. Actually, they translated him Oris in European, so what's up with that? Anyway, so Oris, right, in Europe, and Orisan in North America. When you jump down, the Templar, me, I just rush through the last packs of mobs. I go down to Oris, I taunt him. All of the other group members, they go to 9 o'clock. I'm gonna tell you in a second why. Um, I taunt him, and then first he is invulnerable for 15 seconds, right? After that comes this particular phase in which Oris is immortal. Now, you cannot do damage to it, so you just have to taunt it away from the group, so that they don't get healing aggro and such, and just hold it on you. This phase of immortality lasts for 1 minute and a half, in which nothing happens. My alliance stays at 9 o'clock because I really wanted them to get used to the running part, which is this one. Now, when these four frozen crystals come on the map, in the room, you have to go to 7 o'clock because, as you can see, 7 o'clock is a safe spot from bosses' stripes and freezing crystal AoE. Now, the freezing crystal does retaliate after the boss destroys it with a white stripe of ice. The freezing crystal retaliates with a massive AoE that goes from the freezing crystal towards the boss half of the room. So you have to keep in mind that there are four freezing crystals. You're gonna see them in next phase, and all of those four freezing crystals, they do an AoE towards the boss that covers half of the room. Doesn't matter where the crystal is. Now, after that, he's again immortal, and right now you can see he has like that dark red orange buff on him. When that buff expires, he's gonna be mortal for the first time. Now, the first period in which you can DPS him lasts 2 minutes. This is him being feeble. Um, as a Templar, what I do basically, I love recordings. What I do basically is I just aggro him in this phase. We don't have enough DPS to finish him in 2 minutes. We need about two and a half. So I just taunt him and I just keep him on myself, and just do the mechanics of the fight continuously until the second phase in which he's feeble. This mechanic right here, boss spawns crystals of cold. You just have to DPS them. As you can see, as a Templar, I can solo kill one of them, and I'm in full PvE spec. So without any problem, just kill the ones next to you because the boss explodes them like this. Explosive ice, it's called the name. And then you take lots of damage if you're in between 2 or 3 crystals. So just kill the ones next to you. I can kill myself, my own. After this phase, he keeps alternating in between these crystals of cold and the explosive crystals, which you have to go back to 7. You're going to see right now, very soon, he's going to do this 7 o'clock thing. The reason why my alliance goes to 9 o'clock during this phase is because I want them to get used to going from 9 to 7, from 9 to 7, because that's what they're going to do during the fight. See? White circles in the room and freezing crystals inside the room. Now you have to wait a little bit as a tank, don't rush, because the boss may follow you and then the AoEs from the freezing crystals may be sent to an awkward position. Just wait a little bit and then you can go as a tank as well. The alliance can go to 7 o'clock right away. As you can see, the AoE also. After this, take the boss, get him back to 12 o'clock. The reason why I keep him at 12 o'clock, there is actually no real reason. It's only for consistency purposes, so that everyone in the alliance has an easier time adjusting to the fact that I am at 12. So me as a Templar means that's 12 o'clock, and then they can, pick up the hours according to my position. Now, from feeble, the same buff he gets, he goes from feeble to immortal. Again, 1.5 minutes of him being untouchable, period in which you just do the regular mechanics. The group just slacks off basically, and me as a Templar, I just try to keep the boss, on me. He does this thing where he goes back to the group and just, puts them in the Aether hold. He does it quite often. He does it during the fight as well. So if you're a tank and, you're confident in your threat, in your aggro, then don't be afraid. He's gonna come back to you as well. Freezing crystals again, 7 o'clock. Everyone goes there. And yeah, white stripes, don't stand in them because they root you. You can be dispelled if you take that white stripe. And if you pay attention, the crystal retaliates. Half of the room is under an AoE. Now, about these freezing crystals, if the boss, for example, destroys 2 freezing crystals with one white stripe, then you have to keep in mind that only one of those crystals is going to retaliate. So if you have like 2 crystals left, and by chance, because he destroys them randomly, right? And by chance the boss destroys, let's say, the middle path last, and there is 2 behind each other, then you can go fast back to the boss and DPS him because only one is going to retaliate. Um, this skill that he does, he's gonna become now mortal. He's gonna become vulnerable, feeble, as they translated it, whatever, and you can DPS him. So now I'm getting ready. I'm popping most of my cooldowns because the group. I tell my group, hey, just go full ham from the beginning because I also want to test my threat and it's better for the DPS overall. So I'm popping all of my cooldowns, most of them. As you can see, this is a big no-no. The fact that I am in the Aether hold for 20 seconds, you should never do that. And how you can avoid that is by not removing shock before this feeble state. This is a thing that you should never do. I don't do it usually. This particular recording I did, so yeah, that's shame on me, right? Little crystals that you can kill, crystals of cold. The DPS have killed theirs. I haven't bothered with mine because they don't do as much damage, as you can clearly see. Now, since I was in the Aether Hole for 20 seconds, our Gladiator has the aggro. Later on in the fight, I'm gonna have it again, so that's no problem. If you lose aggro, then have a backup, right? So if you're a Templar or if you're a tanking Gladiator and you by any chance lose aggro, it's good to have a backup in another plate tanking it. So I tell also my friend the gladiator that, hey, you go full ham, you go with taunts, and if I lose aggro, at least I know it's gonna be on you. Again, the same phase, freezing crystal, as you can see here, is very important to see because the boss is in a position in which it's a weird position for him. So as you can see, the AoE goes a bit sideways towards the boss, right? Um, that's what you have to keep in mind, that's one of the reasons why the boss is standing at 12 o'clock, because the AoEs should come from the middle of the room towards 12 o'clock and the DPS should be behind it. Other than that, composition wise, here you need, if the DPS is safe and if they know the movement from 9 to 7, don't take the AoE from the crystals, kill your own little crystals, then 2 healing clerics are plenty. You can have a support, of course. Chanter is really nice to have. We have a really awesome chanter, and it's really good to have a support. I prefer chanter over bard. You can go with whatever fits your alliance or whatever friends you have. Little crystals, again, you can kill them. You should kill them next to the DPS because, as you can see, there's 1, 2 of them next to them. So if they don't kill it, they're gonna take about 5-6k damage. So you don't want that. Why? There is a very important thing in this boss fight. It's called a reflect. The boss will cast a skill. I forgot how it's called at the moment, but it comes about at 25%. If your DPS is brutal, then it can come at 20, maybe 23, something like that. So pay attention to that skill. It's a reflect skill. Stop DPS, call it out from when it's cast. You have plenty of time since it's a 4-second cast, plenty of time to stop, right? As you can see in our alliance, nobody died, so basically they stopped at the right time, which is good. Other than that, guys, lots of DPS. You have 3 minutes and 10 seconds to kill this boss in the second weakened phase. So you should be able to do that in 3 minutes. I think we do it in 2:40 by now. So yeah, and that was the second boss for you guys. Third boss, Beritra, hard mode incoming soon. I wish you guys lots of love. Stay tuned.